Get ready with me while I tell you my birth story and how it did not go the way that I wanted things to go. Okay, so my birth story. I was trying to think of where to start, so I think I'm just going to start kind of in the beginning. Maybe not, maybe when you start getting ultrasounds, like growth ultrasounds. So, all along, my baby was measuring kind of long, so I was convinced that he was going to come early. Even though I knew that with it being my first pregnancy, that probably was not going to happen at all. But towards the end of my pregnancy, like in the last month, he was still measuring long and I started having some problems with my blood pressure and swelling. So I really did think he was going to come early, but he did not. He ended up coming 3 days late. And that was just because I scheduled the induction then because I wanted a specific doctor to deliver my baby. So yeah, I ended up having to be induced. And with that induction, they had to give me Cervidil before they could do anything else because my cervix was not ready. I'd been stuck at 1 centimeter for I think a month at that point with no progress, sometimes even like half a centimeter when I went in to get checked. It kind of varied, but they went ahead with the Cervidil. And here's the funny thing, they told me that the Cervidil was not going to send me into labor naturally. Well, they didn't say not. They said it was like a 5% chance that it could actually send me into labor, like just the Cervidil. So I thought things were just going to go normal from there. Like my cervix would get ready and then I'd start the Pitocin and have my actual induction. Well, guess what? The Cervidil ended up sending me into labor within like an hour. And so they took it out at about the 2 hour mark because I was starting to have pretty strong contractions. And then like an hour or so after that, I decided to go ahead and get an epidural. And that was at like 10:30 the night before I gave birth. So I labored all night with the epidural. That wasn't bad. Things were progressing overnight, according to the nurses. I mean, I totally believe them. Apparently, I got up to around like maybe 3 to 5 centimeters dilated. It was kind of hard to tell because different people were checking, and I feel like that's kind of a subjective measurement. But basically, they were telling me I was on track to have the baby by noon the next day. Well, the next morning comes, and when the doctor came and did his rounds, maybe around like 11 o'clock, I was actually regressing, and so I decided to go ahead and have a C-section because he said my baby's head could not fit through where it needed to go to keep labor going. So I was just ready to have him out. And I was really tired at that point. Like I hadn't eaten since 2 p.m. the day before. So I went ahead with the C-section, which I hardly remember because I'm so tall and I guess because I weigh so much, they had to give me so much anesthesia that I was knocked out until like an hour after the C-section, and that's when I finally got to meet my little boy. Now, this wasn't the birth experience I wanted, but it was definitely worth it, and I got to go home the next day because I was not sitting down in that hospital.